2 weeks ago, I was working on a brand new 2026 Toyota Camry when something caught my eye that I hadn't seen in years. Under the hood, right there in plain sight, was an actual oil dipstick. A real metal dipstick that you can pull out to check your oil level without a computer screen or warning light. I actually stopped what I was doing and called over my lead technician. "Look at this," I said. Toyota brought back the dipstick. He stared at it like he was seeing a ghost. For the past 5 years, most new Toyotas and Hondas have eliminated the dipstick entirely, forcing owners to rely on electronic oil level sensors that are expensive to replace and often inaccurate. But now, Toyota is quietly bringing it back, and they're not alone. Honda just reintroduced physical buttons for climate control on the 2026 Accord after years of forcing everyone to use frustrating touchscreens. Mazda brought back the handbrake after a decade of electronic parking brakes that cost $800 to replace when they fail. Subaru is adding spare tires back to models that had run-flat tires or fix-a-flat kits. Japanese manufacturers spent the last 15 years removing features that customers loved. Features that made cars practical, reliable, and easy to maintain. They replaced them with electronic alternatives that looked modern but broke constantly and cost fortunes to repair. Now, after years of customer complaints, reliability problems, and expensive warranty claims, they're finally admitting they were wrong. They're bringing back the analog features that actually worked. I've been wrenching for 19 years, and I've watched these features disappear one by one, making cars harder to maintain and more expensive to own. Now, I'm watching them come back, and it's the best news I've heard in a decade. In this video, I'm revealing the 11 features that Japanese manufacturers removed but are finally bringing back, and why their return changes everything about reliability and ownership costs. Let's get into it. Feature number 1. The oil dipstick. Toyota, Honda, Mazda. This is the big one that got me started on this topic. For years, Japanese manufacturers have been eliminating oil dipsticks and replacing them with electronic oil level sensors. Why they removed it cost savings. A dipstick costs maybe $3 to manufacture. Eliminating it saves money multiplied by millions of vehicles. Marketing. Electronic oil monitoring systems sounded high-tech and modern. Dealerships could sell it as advanced technology. Forced dealer visits. Without a dipstick, customers couldn't check their own oil. They had to rely on warning lights, which often appeared too late, forcing emergency dealer visits. Why removing it was a disaster. Electronic oil sensors fail constantly. I've replaced hundreds of them at $200 to $400 each. The sensor fails, triggers a warning light, and the customer panics thinking the engine is damaged. Customers can't check oil between changes. Many modern engines burn oil, especially turbocharged models. Without a dipstick, owners don't know they're low until the warning light appears, often after a damage has occurred. The warning lights are reactive, not proactive. By the time the light comes on, you're already dangerously low on oil. A dipstick lets you check before problems develop. The return Toyota started adding dipsticks back to 2025 and 2026 models. The 2026 Camry, Corolla, and RAV4 all have them again. Honda followed suit. The 2026 Accord and Civic have traditional dipsticks after years without them. Mazda never fully eliminated dipsticks, but they're now standardizing them across all models. This is a massive win for reliability and owner empowerment. You can now check your oil yourself, catch low oil before damage occurs, and avoid expensive sensor failures. Feature number 2. Physical climate control buttons. Honda, Mazda. For the past decade, manufacturers have been replacing simple climate control buttons with touchscreen-only controls. It was a disaster. Why they removed physical buttons? Touchscreens looked modern and high-tech in marketing photos. They saved a few dollars per vehicle by eliminating physical buttons and knobs. It allowed for larger screens, which customers found impressive in showrooms. Why touchscreen-only controls? Failed you can't adjust temperature or fan speed without taking your eyes off the road. Physical buttons can be operated by feel. Touchscreens require you to look at the screen, find the right icon, and tap accurately while driving. Touchscreens fail. I've replaced dozens of failed climate control touchscreens at $800 to $1,500 each. Physical buttons last the life of the vehicle. They're slower to use. Adjusting temperature with a physical knob takes 1 second. Using a touchscreen menu takes 5 to 10 seconds. Cold weather makes touchscreens unresponsive. Wearing gloves makes them nearly impossible to use. The return Honda announced the 2026 Accord will have physical climate control buttons again. Temperature, fan speed, and mode selection all use physical controls. Mazda has already brought back physical controls across their entire lineup. The CX-5, CX-50, and Mazda 3 all have traditional buttons and knobs. Toyota is following. The 2026 4Runner has dedicated climate buttons instead of touchscreen-only controls. This is a huge safety and usability improvement. You can now adjust your climate settings without taking your eyes off the road. Feature number 3. The mechanical handbrake. Mazda, Subaru. Electronic parking brakes became standard on most Japanese cars in the mid-2010s. They've been a maintenance nightmare. Why they removed mechanical handbrakes? Electronic parking brakes, EPB, free up center console space for cup holders and storage. They enable auto-hold features that keep the car stopped at traffic lights without holding the brake pedal. They sounded advanced and high-tech in marketing materials. Why electronic parking brakes failed? They fail frequently. I've replaced EPB actuators, modules, and motors at $600 to $1,200 per repair. Mechanical handbrakes virtually never fail. They're impossible to use for emergency braking if your main brakes fail. A mechanical handbrake gives you backup stopping power. An EPB button does nothing if the electronic system fails. They make simple brake service expensive. Replacing rear brake pads on an EPB-equipped car requires a scan tool to retract the electronic calipers. This turns a $150 DIY job into a $400 dealer service. They drain the battery. EPBs use electric motors that draw power even when the car is off. The return Mazda brought back mechanical handbrakes on the Miata and is expanding them to other models. Subaru is reintroducing mechanical handbrakes on certain Crosstrek and Outback trim levels. Even Toyota is considering bringing them back on trucks and SUVs like the Tacoma and 4Runner. This is a massive reliability win. Mechanical handbrakes last forever, cost nothing to maintain, and actually work in emergencies. If you made it this far, then consider liking this video, giving it a thumbs up, and subscribing to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. Feature number 4. Spare tires. Subaru, Honda, Mazda. In the 2010s, manufacturers started eliminating spare tires and replacing them with run-flat tires or tire repair kits. It was a terrible decision. Why they removed spare tires? Weight savings improved EPA fuel economy ratings by 0.1 miles per gallon. It freed up cargo space. Run-flat tires sounded high-tech and convenient. Oh, why removing spare tires failed? Run-flat tires are expensive. They cost $200 to $400 each, double the price of regular tires. Run-flat tires ride harshly and wear out faster than conventional tires. Tire repair kits don't work on sidewall punctures, large tears, or blowouts. You're stranded and need a tow. Towing costs more than a spare tire. A single tow can cost $150 to $300, more than the cost of a spare tire and jack. The return Subaru is adding spare tires back to Outback and Forester models that previously had run flats. Honda is including spare tires on 2026 CR-V and Pilot models after years of tire repair kits. Mazda standardized spare tires across the entire CX lineup. This is a huge practical improvement. You can change a flat yourself and keep driving instead of waiting hours for a tow truck. Feature number 5. Naturally aspirated engines. Toyota, Honda. This one is more subtle, but Japanese manufacturers are moving away from small turbocharged engines and back to proven naturally aspirated designs. Why they switched to turbos? Small turbocharged engines improved EPA fuel economy ratings on paper. They produced more power from smaller displacement, which sounded impressive in marketing. Turbocharging was trendy in the automotive industry. Why turbos created? Problems: turbocharged engines are less reliable. Turbos fail, oil consumption increases, and carbon buildup is a constant issue. Real-world fuel economy is often worse than naturally aspirated engines because turbo engines are worked harder. Maintenance costs are higher. Oil changes need to be more frequent. Premium fuel is often required. Turbo replacements cost $2,000 to $3,500. The return Toyota is expanding naturally aspirated engine options across the lineup. The 2026 Camry offers a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine alongside the hybrid. Honda is keeping naturally aspirated engines in the Accord, Civic, and CR-V after considering going all-turbo. Mazda never fully committed to turbos and is doubling down on naturally aspirated Skyactiv engines. This is a reliability win. Naturally aspirated engines last 300,000 plus miles with basic maintenance. Turbocharged engines struggle past 150,000 miles without expensive repairs. Feature number 6, traditional automatic transmissions, Mazda, Toyota. CVTs and dual-clutch transmissions promised better fuel economy and performance. They delivered expensive failures instead. Why they adopted CVTs and DCTs? CVTs offered better EPA fuel economy ratings. Dual-clutch transmissions provided faster shifts and sounded high performance. They were trendy in the automotive industry. Why alternative transmissions failed? CVTs fail frequently. Nissan CVTs are notorious, but Honda and Subaru CVTs also have issues. Replacement costs $4,500 to $6,000. Dual-clutch transmissions are jerky in stop-and-go traffic and expensive to repair. Traditional automatics last longer and cost less to maintain. The return Toyota is sticking with traditional 8-speed and 10-speed automatics instead of adopting more CVTs. Mazda uses traditional 6-speed automatics exclusively and refuses to build CVTs. Even Honda is limiting CVT use and considering more traditional automatic options for future models. Traditional automatics last 200,000 plus miles with fluid changes. CVTs struggle past 100,000 miles. Feature number 7, physical gauges, Mazda, Toyota. Digital gauge clusters became trendy in the 2000s. Now manufacturers are bringing back analog gauges that actually work when electronics fail. Why they went digital? Digital gauges looked futuristic and high-tech. They allowed for customizable displays. They saved weight by eliminating mechanical gauge mechanisms. Why digital gauges are problematic? They fail completely when electronics malfunction. An analog gauge still works even if half the car's electronics are dead. They're expensive to replace. A digital gauge cluster costs $800 to $2,000 to replace. Analog gauges rarely need replacement. They're harder to read at a glance. Analog needles provide instant visual feedback. Digital numbers require you to read and process information. The return Mazda is incorporating more analog gauges into their digital clusters, particularly the tachometer. Toyota is using hybrid digital/analog clusters that maintain physical gauges for critical information. This ensures you can still monitor critical engine information even if the digital display fails. Feature number 8, halogen headlights as standard, Honda, Mazda. LED headlights became standard on many models, but they're expensive to replace when they fail. Some manufacturers are offering halogen options again. Why they switched to LEDs? LEDs look modern and high-end. They're more energy efficient. They last longer than traditional bulbs. Why LED-only options are problematic. LED headlight assemblies cost $800 to $2,500 to replace when they fail. They fail more often than expected due to moisture intrusion and driver failures. Halogen bulbs cost $20 to $50, and anyone can replace them. The return Honda is offering halogen headlights on base trim levels again. Mazda provides halogen options on lower trims of the CX-5 and Mazda 3. This gives budget-conscious buyers an option that's much cheaper to maintain long-term. Feature number 9, CD players, select Lexus models. This one surprises people, but some manufacturers are bringing back CD players after eliminating them entirely. Why they removed CD players? Streaming music made CDs seem obsolete. Removing CD players saved costs and weight. It freed up dashboard space for larger screens. Why some customers want them back? Not everyone wants to rely on phone connectivity or streaming. CDs offer higher audio quality than compressed streaming in many luxury vehicles. Older customers prefer physical media. The return Lexus is offering CD players as optional equipment on certain luxury models. This caters to customers who value physical media and don't want to depend on electronics. Feature number 10, simple key fobs, Toyota, Subaru. Smart keys with push-button start became standard, but they're expensive to replace and the batteries die constantly. Some manufacturers are offering simple key options again. Why they adopted smart keys? Push-button start seemed luxurious and modern. It enabled keyless entry and remote start features. It was a profitable option to upsell customers. Why smart keys are problematic? Replacement keys cost $300 to $600 each. Batteries die, often at inconvenient times. They're easy to lose or damage. Some can be hacked or cloned by thieves. The return Toyota offers traditional key options on base trim Corollas and Tacomas. Subaru provides traditional key options on lower trim Crosstreks. This saves customers hundreds in replacement costs over the vehicle's life. Feature number 11, AM radio, Toyota Mazda. Several manufacturers removed AM radio entirely, then brought it back after backlash. Why they removed AM radio? AM radio seemed obsolete in the age of streaming and satellite radio. AM radios can interfere with electric vehicle systems. Removing it saved minimal costs. Why customers demanded its return? AM radio is critical for emergency broadcasts. Many areas still rely on AM for news and traffic. Rural areas often have limited FM and no reliable cellular service. The return Toyota reversed course and is keeping AM radio in all models. Mazda confirmed AM radio will remain standard across the lineup. This ensures customers can receive emergency broadcasts during disasters. Why these features are returning? Japanese manufacturers are finally admitting what mechanics have known for years. The features they removed were better than the advanced alternatives they replaced them with. Physical buttons are more reliable than touchscreens. Mechanical handbrakes outlast electronic parking brakes. Dipsticks prevent expensive engine damage that electronic sensors miss. Traditional automatics last longer than CVTs. The return of these features signals a shift back toward reliability, practicality, and low cost of ownership. Japanese manufacturers built their reputations on these principles, abandoned them for a decade, and are now rediscovering why they mattered in the first place. What this means for you. If you're shopping for a new Japanese car, prioritize models with these returning features. Look for physical climate controls, not touchscreen only. Choose models with traditional automatics over CVTs when possible. Verify there's an actual oil dipstick. Check if it has a spare tire or run flats. Consider naturally aspirated engines over turbos for long-term reliability. These old-fashioned features will save you thousands in repairs and make your ownership experience dramatically better. The Japanese manufacturers are finally learning what we've known all along. Simple, proven technology beats complicated electronics every single time. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to watch this next video, as I am sharing insider tips to help you cut repair costs and keep your car running like new.